Have you ever been in that situation where your whole childhood you're being told, you know what, nothing good is gonna come out of you, you can't make it in life, you're not going to excel in your studies, who is gonna marry you anyway? Have you ever been in that situation? I remember I was in that situation. The worst thing is that the more I heard people saying all those negative words about my life, it started singing in me, because I was looking at where I was, how we're struggling, how we're poor, how we're surviving from head to mouth. All those negative words started singing in me. I remember the whole of my primary education, me and my brother, we used to rush home after school. We take our dishes of tomatoes and onions, we start moving door by door to sell tomatoes each and every day, and sometimes we were selling very far, we could trek with our own feet just to go and sell tomatoes. I remember I used to see my friends, they used to laugh at me that how can you trek with foot from where you stay up to here just to sell tomatoes? But that didn't stop me and my brother. We used to sell and come back in the same location because we knew that's where our school fees was coming from. We knew that's where we're surviving from. We knew that's where our school fees was coming from actually. We knew that's where the money to buy books and everything was coming from. So people's words, my classmates laughing at me, didn't stop me from going there. I used to be so ashamed, but I say there's no option. We have to go there, my little brother. We have to sell. We have to sell. I remember if we sell and they finish, we go back home. We tell Mama, you know what, Mama, we finished early. Can you give us more? We put on our head again. We go back again. We start selling door by door. I remember that time. We used to knock. We knock. You knock until someone comes out. You tell them we are selling tomatoes and onions. They tell you don't have money. You go to the next door, and the next day you come back to the same house until they buy it from you. And remember, in my heart, I had already accepted all the negative words that people were saying about my life. I had accepted already that we are very poor. I'm going to die poor. I'm going to die from selling. And people reached an extent of even telling me, you know what, you're going to become impregnated in this location. You're going to still sell tomatoes in this location, struggling. And all that had sunk in my heart. And I had accepted that, you know what, we are poor. Nothing is gonna change. But one day I said enough is enough. I remember I was in high school and all the negative things that people were saying about my life growing up, I saw them coming back. I saw them reflecting in my life. I was failing miserably in my studies, I was walking in shame, zero confidence at all. I used to feel less of myself. When an opportunity rises a square, I could say, I'm not good enough because I've been fed with negative things growing up. And the other worst thing is I started gaining weight. And I was like, oh my God, who is even going to marry me with such a big body? I remember this new lady who moved next to where I was staying, our new neighbor. It was a lady in her 20s, just a few years from where I was. She was looking elegant. She was looking great. She was driving a car, a company car. She was, dressing nicely. I looked at myself and I said, if this lady can do it, why me? Why can't I do it? That's the day I told myself, I am going to do whatever it takes. I told myself, Precious, stop feeling sorry for yourself. Do something. Get up. Girl, get up. I'm telling someone today, girl, get up. Stop feeling sorry for yourself because your sorriness is not going to save you. I remember this lady very well. She was my role model. I used to wake up early in the morning because she used to go to work around 6. I used to wake up so early in the morning, not because I was, waking up early so that I can go to school early. I used to wake up early such that at least I see her going at work. I tell you, she used to wear these high heels, dress so nicely, driving a company car in her 20s. And I asked myself, why me? Why me? That's the day I decided, you know what? I'm not going to feel sorry for myself. I have to take charge of my life. I started rising from there. The day that I decided to stop feeling sorry for myself, I came across a meme actually on WhatsApp. That was from Bill Gates, saying, if you're born from a poor background, it's not your mistake. But if you decide to die poor, it's now your mistake. I tell you, that hit me hard. I said, yes, I'm born from a poor background, but that doesn't determine my future. I have to take charge of my future. I started pushing harder even in my studies. I told myself I'm going to read and I'm going to pass. I told myself, Precious, you're going to read, you're going to pass. The worst thing, I was at one of the low-ranked schools actually in the area, you see, but I told myself this school is not going to determine my grades. I started reading, that's the truth. I remember when everyone goes home, I could remain at school. I would read because I knew if I go home faster, sometimes I'll end up not getting time to read. I could remain and I could read. I could read and go home. That was my daily goal each and every day. Let me tell someone who is listening to me right now, whatever you decide in your life, if you put your heart, your mind, your soul into it, trust me, you're going to achieve it. But just because I decided to take charge of my life didn't mean things became easy. Actually, things became even more hard. But what did that mean? It meant I was ready to do whatever it takes, no matter how hard things were. I remember very well now we had upgraded from moving door to door to selling at one position. I remember I could come back from school. I go sit at the next of the road. I put my tomatoes and onions in one place. Then I open my book and start selling and reading at the same time. I remember people's words so clear in my mind telling me, are you showing off? Do you think we didn't go to school one time? How can you pretend like you're reading there? How can you read in such noise? How can you read when cars are passing by? Who do you want to show off to? Close that book. I remember all those words from people because I was trying to multitask here. I was trying that. I can't tell my mother I can't go to sell, but I also want to read. You see, so I was multitasking that. At least when customers are not there, I'm going to open my book and start reading. When someone comes, I close, I save my customer. When they go, I open my book, I start reading, but people could not see it. But that gave me fuel. Instead of making me down or putting me down, that gave me even more fuel to do more. I was so angry. I was like, you know what? I want to prove people wrong. I'm going to read in this dust. I'm going to read in this noise. I know my situation. I know what I want now. I was ready to do whatever it takes. I want to inspire a girl child here or anyone who is listening to me right now. Collect all the negative energy you've ever received in your life, either in your childhood growing up, either at your high school, either at your primary school, either at university, either at your workplace, either from your friends. I want you to collect all that negative energy, all those negative things that they said to you, and use them as your stepping stone, use them as your ladder to success, use them as your ladder to prove to them that, you know what? Despite all this, I am going to make it. Don't let people's words define who you are. Never let people's opinions about your life define your destiny. Hear it from me, girl child. Life can change. Life can change. I remember that time when I passed my O-level examinations. Oh my God, whenever I think of that moment, I smile. You know, I smile with happiness. I remember I passed. I was actually one of the highest students at that school. I wrote 9 subjects. I passed all of them. I passed with 6 A's, 2 B's, 1 C. All of them I passed. I want to tell you something. Remember, I'm that same girl who grew up being told nothing good is going to come out of you. You are not going to make it in life. You know, you come from a poor background. You know, you can't do anything in life. You are not going to pass. How can you read aside of the road and pretend to us that you know more, you can do better? But did that stop me? It didn't. And I remember that time my father was still a general worker and my mother, she was a vendor. My parents told me clearly that my children, I'm going to do whatever it takes to make sure that you go to school. Remember, I had finished the O-level. My father said, my daughter, you are going to proceed with your studies. I'm going to do whatever it takes to make sure you go ahead with your studies. Did going to A-level to advanced level make things easier? No. I'll be lying to you if I told you that things got easier. Sometimes things don't get easy. We just become stronger. I remember we were now 2 at high school. I was me doing my advanced level. My brother that follows me was now doing Form 1. And now money for school fees was a problem. I remember my father used to write a letter that I'll carry with boldness and courage, with confidence to the headmaster's office. I'll tell the headmaster, I came with a letter from my father. He's saying, you know what, we are going to pay half school fees. The other school fees will pay next term or next month or what. It reached a time actually when the headmaster, when he saw me coming inside of the office, when I'm just opening the door and going there, say, stop, is that a letter from your father? I said, yes, go, it's fine. Tell him it's fine. Can you imagine reaching a time where the headmaster knows whenever you enter his office, it's about complaining, my father can't pay school fees, all of it now, will pay the other half. That was me. Things didn't get easier, but I became more strong. And guess what? I was made the head girl for 2 years in the same school, because teachers were seeing the potential, the hard work, the resilience in me. I was now hearing teachers say, you know what, Precious, you're going to become so successful in life, you're going to make it in life, you're going to become actually one of the great speakers, you're so confident. But in my head, I was like, do these people really know where I'm coming from? But I was excited because I knew the hard work I had to put in to become to reach where I was now. I knew what I had to go through, what I had to overcome to reach where I was. You know what? Sometimes you just need to go a bit higher and leave all this noise where you grew up from. Just advance a bit higher, you start hearing better things. Advance from where you are, just push harder a bit from where you are. You see that you start hearing great things. And guess what? I wrote my advanced level examination and I passed with flying colors again. Wow. You know, whenever I think of this, I even feel so emotional. Because to be where I am today, someone may just see the flashy furs, you know, the nice clothes. But where we are coming from, sometimes when we think of it, we become emotional. I remember I passed my advanced level. I passed with 11 points. Straight away, I did mathematics, economics, and business studies. I passed with flying colors. What made me to pass is not because I was so brilliant at school. No. It's because I was so hungry and angry. Actually, I wanted to prove people that, you know what, my background doesn't determine my destiny. What people said about me doesn't determine who I am. I knew that if I'm coming from a poor background, it's not my mistake. But if I decide to die poor, it's not my mistake. So I take charge of my life. I stopped, you know, feeling sorry for myself. I stopped listening to all negative people. I started working towards what I wanted in life. And guess what? Did life become easy after passing advanced level? No. Sometimes, you know, when I think of my background, I laugh sometimes. Things don't get easier sometimes. We just become more stronger. I remember I finished university. I knew exactly that my father or my parents, they are not going to afford to send me to university. Because actually completing A level, I had to pay half for me to finish. So I didn't even quarrel. I didn't even say, yo, why can't you send me to university? I knew where I was coming from. I knew there was no money. I knew there was no money to send me to university. But what did I do? I didn't sit down. I believed God for more. You know, I remember I used to pray that, God, you can't make me to reach this far and leave me where I am to struggle again. I told God that, you know what, you are the one who made me to pass O level, who made me to pass A level. You are the one who is going to find a way. Either you're going to send destiny help us, you're going to send what? But me, I'm going ahead. I didn't sit. I want to tell someone there, when you get stuck in life, when you feel like, you know what, this is the end of it, don't sit down. You don't sit down. No. I remember I read this quote from Steve Harvey saying, you are saying to yourself, I'm going through hell. Why will you stop in hell? Why will you stop in hell? You have to move and keep moving. I remember I started looking for a job. Actually, I started looking for a job like crazy. I said, you know what? There's no money for university. Let me get a job and raise money. I started looking for a job and I found one. I started working. Then in the process of working, I saw an advert. Actually, I was at home sitting, relaxing, you know, watching TV. Then I saw an advert on news saying, you know what, there was a scholarship for underprivileged people, a government scholarship. I remember I told my mother, I told Mama, you know what, I'm going to apply. Do you know what she laughed? She said, my daughter, I know you want to proceed to university, but this is a government scholarship. Everyone in Zimbabwe is applying, almost the whole country. And mostly people who get these scholarships are people with connections. Who do you know? My daughter, who do you know? Do you know what I told my mother? I said, my mother, me, I know God. I remember that was the one answer I gave her, because truly there was no one I knew. There was no one I knew. I was in this location, outskirt location. So I told Mama, me, I know God, I'm going to apply. I'm going to apply for this scholarship. Lucky enough, I had an aunt who was in the capital city. So I told my Mama, give me the call. I want to call my aunt. I called my aunt. I told her I'm coming to Harare. That is the capital city of Zimbabwe. I'm coming. I want to apply for the scholarship, for the government scholarship. I didn't want to apply online. No, I wanted to go physical with the papers and everything. So I went there and I applied. After applying, I proceeded to working. I started working actually in also one of the outskirts of Mutoko. I started working there. I started working, but in my heart, I believed that, that scholarship, I'm going to get it. I started working. I remember I used to tell my co-workers that, you're just having me here for temporary. I'm not here forever. I'm going to school. Say, Precious, you're going to school. I said, I'm going to school. Then they said, how are you going to school? I said, I applied for the scholarship. They were telling me, you think you'll get that? You can't get a government scholarship. That one needs people maybe with connections, or even if without connections, they take people who passed with flying colors. Me, I had 11 points. There are people who have 15 points, 14 points, they're going to be picked. I said, government scholarship, they take from 10 points. I'm going to get that scholarship. 8 months down the line, I was still working at that location. I received a call telling me, Precious, we tried to reach you. We have been accepted for scholarship, for Zim scholarship. Oh my God. That call changed my life. You've been accepted for Zim scholarship. We tried calling you 3 days ago. You need to come to the capital city right now. I remember I started packing my clothes and I told my co-workers, guys, goodbye, I'm going. I'm not going to come back here. They said, Precious, you're going to be fired. If it doesn't go out well, how are you going to get your job back? I said, guys, I've been telling you I'm going to go to school. I'm going to school now. I'm not coming back. I remember I packed my bag. I went back. I reached to the scholarship, to the scholarship house. We started applying, processing our visa. Everything wasn't easy. Oh my God. I want to tell someone today. I want to encourage you, girl child. I want to encourage someone listening to me right now. Sometimes problems after problems, when you think that things are about to get better, no, things sometimes don't just get better. You have to keep on pushing no matter what life throws at you. Yes, I had been accepted at scholarship, but it needed money to process visas. I didn't have even a passport. My parents had to gather money first to make me get an emergency passport. I got my emergency passport. After that, I had to apply for visas. The process was too long, too tiresome. It was, consuming money. It was too expensive. But I didn't stop. I kept on proceeding until I went to South Africa. Oh my God. I got accepted. We traveled to South Africa. I was studying economics. I got a program for economics. I went to study at University of Fort Hare. That's where life started to make sense. I remember I was now at university and people were telling me, university life changes people. University life, people get destroyed sometimes. People do crazy stuff. I told someone that you don't know me. You don't know where I'm coming from. You don't know where I'm going. I went to university with a purpose. My goal and my heart and my dream was to work so hard such that I change where I'm coming from. So that thing of saying university life destroys people, no. It actually didn't fall in my category because I knew where I was coming from. I knew what I wanted in life. So if you hear people saying that if you go there, you'll be changed, you'll be destroyed. Most people who fall in those categories are people who go to university because, they see it as an escape plan to have freedom in their lives, away from parents, do whatever they want. But me, I was so focused. Actually, I was so focused. I can testify that for myself. I knew what I wanted. I knew what I had to do. I was chasing my dreams. I wanted to change my family background. That was my number one priority. I remember in my first year at university, I was passing with flying colors, distinctions, I was passing because I knew what I had gone there for. And I remember I started seeing opportunities where people were not seeing opportunities. opportunities. I started my own business. I started selling like crazy at university. And guess what? In my second year at university, I told myself, you know what? I've been selling, I'm making some good money. Why can't I have that feeling of having my own car? Guess what? I bought my first car at university in my second year at 22 years old. That's a story for another time that I'm going to share with you. But you know what? I kept on working so hard, working so hard. And in my final year, I graduated with a cum laude. Those who don't know, cum laude is the first class. It's not like I'm bragging. I'm so excited when I share this story. I just want someone to see where I'm coming from and where I am right now. I bought my first car at 22 at university. Someone who saw me buying that car, they could think this lady is coming from a rich background. You know, the parents sent her money to buy the car, but they didn't know where I'm coming from. To graduating with the first class, you know, an economist, a whole economist. I tell you, that was something else. So I'm inspiring someone today that sometimes you just have to be resilient. Sometimes you just have to push harder. I graduated with cum laude. I graduated with first class. I was celebrating with so much happiness. On the stage, moving, I nearly cried. But I had to hold my tears. I knew that is this me, God? Is this the precious who I knew before, who is now walking on the stage, graduate? So what am I saying? I'm saying, girl, get up. Stop feeling sorry for yourself. Stop feeling ashamed for yourself. You know, no one is coming to save you. You have to save yourself. Get up and take charge of your life. It doesn't matter where you're coming from. Actually, your background doesn't determine your future. Hear it from me. Your background will never determine your future. You can do more, you can do better than anyone else. Some of actually the successful people you see, if you really sit down with them and ask them where are they coming from, you will cry. Because people, they don't move around showing that I'm coming from a poor background, I'm coming from a poor... No. You take charge of your life. You define your destiny. You define your own destiny. Your background doesn't define your own destiny. So get up. Take charge of your life. You might not have gotten the opportunity to go to start university like I did, but that will not stop you from reaching your dreams. Start from where you are right now. Get up from there. Become more hungry. Become more hungry and angry for success. Become more hungry that, you know what, I want to do more out of my life despite my situation. To tell you the truth, from the universities, life started becoming more easier and started making sense. You know, I started seeing things, you know, coming together, making sense. But one of my fears actually was my dating life, because I was entering into wrong relationship. I was being heartbroken. I'm this person who knows where she's going, who wants more out of life. But I was being heartbroken with my past relationships. I was falling into wrong hands. So my prayer now was, God, I can't come all this far and enter and fall into a wrong hand, or maybe end up getting married to a wrong person. My prayer was, now, God, I want a man who is going to support my dreams, a man who is a visionary, a man, you know, who is going to move with me, a man who fits me so perfectly. That was my prayer, because people were telling me, or not scaring me, Precious, the way you are so focused and hardworking, pray to God that you don't fall into a wrong hand. So that was my prayer, that, you know what, I want the right man. I ended the relationship. I was heartbroken. I ended the wrong relationships. I moved on. I left them because they were not fitting me. And I remember, you know, there's a saying in the Bible that when the time is right, I, the Lord, will make it happen. I remember, that's Isaiah 60:22. I remember very well. I got this gentleman online. The person I'm calling my husband today, actually I've been married, it's now 5 months of marriage. The person I'm calling my husband today, I met him online. We started talking. I get to know him. I saw that this guy was so visionary. He was so, you know, he wanted more out of life. People started telling me, hey, how can you date someone online? How can you date someone you've never seen? And you're calling yourself, I have a boyfriend, you are single, my friend. People are telling me that. But because I knew who I was dating, I knew the potential that this gentleman had. He had almost all the qualities I wanted in a man. He was so visionary. It's not like he had everything like rich or anything. No, 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 no. I saw his vision. He was up there. He was not there, but his mind, his vision was up there. He was a big dreamer. I wanted such a man in my life. And I started dating him. Actually, we did a how we met story with my husband. Because after finishing university, I went back to Zimbabwe. My boyfriend came and paid lobola, that is bride price. I moved to Uganda. Can you imagine? I got married abroad. We actually did a how we met story of part 1 and part 2. You can check it out on this channel and get inspired. So truly life can change. These are my last words to you, girl child, or anyone who is watching me. Stop feeling sorry for yourself. Take charge of your life. No one is coming to save you. You have to save yourself. You know, stop letting other people's opinions or people's words about your life determine your future. Life can change. Hear it from me. Right now, you are no longer talking to Precious. You're talking to Precious with another title, Miss Maweje. I got married to the man of my dreams, the man I love the most. So life can truly change. You just have to be more hungry for success. Go for your dreams. The sky is the only limit. I love this saying that aim for the moon, such that when you fall on the stars. You know, aim higher. Dream big. You know, dreaming big is not expensive. It's not costly. You just have to dream big and aim for the moon. At least when you fall on the stars. So go for your dreams. I hope you got inspired with my story. I hope you are ready to take charge of your life. I hope you are ready to rise, girl, child, or anyone who is watching me here. Thank you so much. Make sure if you are new to this channel, so that you don't miss any of our videos, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video, share it to someone who you think will get inspired by this story. Like the video, comment. See you in our next video where I'm going to be sharing with you how I bought my first car at 22 years. Make sure you check some of our videos on this channel and turn your notifications such that you're notified whenever we post. We love you. Mwah.